Hi, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. My name is Amy and I'm a hairdresser and makeup artist. And today in this video, I want to give you some advice on things you can do which are going to encourage your hair to grow nice and long and healthy. I've been hairdressing now for, I was trying to count a minute ago, and it's a lot of years. But yeah, there's definitely some key things which I've noticed over the years working with my clients that they've done to help encourage their hairs to grow. First of all, before I start, anything which I talk about in the video product wise, I'll put in the description box below, and if you've got any questions then feel free to leave them there too. So the first piece of advice which I want to give to you is, if you are struggling to grow your hair, or it just gets to a certain length and you think, oh, it just isn't growing any longer, I would first of all stop using, well, I wouldn't say any heat, maybe the hairdryer is fine, but any direct heat. So anything like straighteners, curlers, a wand. But I know that sometimes this is easier said than done, especially if you are out at work every single day and you know you're styling your hair every single day because you've got to be somewhere. And what a lot of people do is they get into this almost like this cycle with the straightening or the curling or whatever, where they don't feel like the hair is done without going over it with the straighteners or the curlers. And if they don't do that, then they just feel like the hair is like frizzy, bushy. So a lot of people get in this cycle where when they are putting the heat on the hair, it's done, but then it's drying it out, it's unhealthy, it loses its shine. But again, if they don't put the heat on the hair, then they just feel like the hair is like bushy and frizzy. I can honestly tell you that from working with all of my clients over the years, the ones who have the longest, thickest, and healthiest hair are the ones who barely use any direct heat on it at all. If you're one of these people, I would recommend to you that you literally give it like 3 to 6 months with just at least limiting the amount of heat that you put on your hair. So maybe in the week wear it up, and then the weekends if you're going out one night, like style it then. Honestly, this will just make such a big difference, I promise you. The second piece of advice which I want to give to you if you're trying to grow your hair would be, make sure you invest and use on your hair decent moisturising products which are just going to help strengthen the hair, repair it, and keep it really moisturised while you're trying to grow it, just so that you can prevent the hair from, you know, any breakage, any damage. And the main products which I would recommend for this would be using a decent shampoo and conditioner, definitely a moisturising conditioner to use through the mid-lengths and ends. I would also advise doing a mask once a week. I would always advise spraying a heat protector through the mid-lengths and ends before you style it, or if you are going to use any heat on it, always use the heat protector. I'd also recommend using a hair oil. Now, you'll probably see on some of my videos as I begin to do more of them that I love Moroccan oil. Like, I just find that Moroccan oil it's like an oil which makes your hair feel like silk. I definitely advise using this through the mid-lengths and ends of your hair to give it some shine, help strengthen it, and it will also just give it some moisture. And what I love about Moroccan oil is you can use it on wet or dry hair, and as long as you rub it through your hands evenly, it won't make your hair go greasy. So I definitely use a more generous amount if it's going on to wet hair, but if I'm putting it on my hair dry, say if the ends feel a little bit dry and I just need a little bit of moisture, yeah, I just use a tiny bit, rub it through my hand so it's nice and even, and then just rub it through the mid-lengths and ends. Another product which I would recommend would be really good, especially for someone if you've got sort of like quite frizzy and rolly hair naturally, would be like a blow drying cream. Olaplex 6 I find is really good for that. If I've got a client who's got really sort of like unruly curly hair, usually what I like to do is put a tiny little bit of the cream on and just use it through the mid-lengths and ends just to help smooth that out. But the main piece of advice to you when buying products would be just invest in a professional brand. Paying that little bit extra will pay off, because usually the products are a lot better and they will last you longer because they're more concentrated, so you won't need as much of the product. The third piece of advice is pretty simple. Make sure you are getting regular haircuts. The reason for this is you need your ends to be really blunt, and I mean mine aren't really a good example at the minute because I'm due to get mine done very soon, but making sure that your ends are really blunt and sharp will prevent them from snapping. And that's why people who don't have a haircut for like a year, their hair ends up like a wisp at the bottom, and you don't want that. You want to grow your hair and it be really thick, full and long. And now what happens to the hair if you haven't had a haircut in, I would say, anything over 6 weeks, the hair starts to cut itself. And this is why just getting a trim every, like, I don't know, every I don't know, I'd advise different people differently, but I'd say at least every 2 to 3 months if you're trying to grow it. So the fourth and last piece of advice I've got for you is if you are struggling not to put any direct heat on your hair, let's say you feel like you literally can't leave the house without straightening your hair, I would recommend that you just give it a go with blow drying with a round brush and a hairdryer. Now this is more fiddly, but if you can crack it, it will just save your hair from having as much direct heat on it, and it will still improve the condition and help strengthen it, which in turn will help it grow. So it is more fiddly, and if you've got really thick hair, I would advise that you sort of like blast all your hair off after you've washed it till it's pretty much dry, and it'd probably be crazy and a big frizz buzz by then. Then I'd get some sectioning clips and literally just section your hair through, you know, working bottom to top. So section this bit top and then through the bottom here, literally get the hairdryer and get your brush, and don't touch the nozzle with the brush just because it'll damage your hair. That's direct heat, so you may as well straighten it. But yeah, I definitely recommend that you sort of bring it under like this with your hairdryer over the top, and this will just help to smooth it. But even if you can limit that direct heat you're putting on it by using a hairdryer and a round brush, I promise it will encourage your hair to grow. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching my video today. I will put any products that I recommend in the description box below. I wish you luck with growing your hair, and if you've got any questions then leave them in the comments box below, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you, bye bye.